Welcome back, everybody, to another deep dive. I think we've got something really cool to explore today.
Yeah, definitely.
Music and spirituality.
It's a fascinating topic.
And it really does go beyond just, music makes you feel good or whatever, right?
Absolutely.
It goes deeper than that.
Much deeper.
Into how sound can be a tool for personal transformation and even like a bridge to something bigger than ourselves.
Exactly.
So for this deep dive, we're tapping into something pretty unique. 248 lectures from spiritual masters from a school called Luz and Movimiento de Unidad.
I've heard of them.
Yeah, which means Light and Movement of Unity.
Oh, yeah.
Or LMDU for short.
Right.
And they cover a huge range of spiritual topics.
Yeah.
But one thing that pops up again and again is the power of music.
You know, that's right. And it's fascinating how these masters representing so many different wisdom traditions all seem to converge on this idea that music is more than just entertainment. They see it as this universal language.
Oh, wow.
That speaks directly to our hearts.
Interesting.
Bypassing all the limitations of words.
It's true.
And even cultural differences.
Well, yeah, I mean, you think about it, like
a
catchy tune can get anybody tapping their feet.
Yeah.
Right? Like from all walks of life.
Exactly.
Or a powerful symphony can move you to tears no matter what language you speak.
Right, exactly. It's like music has this...
It really does.
...direct line to our emotions, to something deeper within us.
Yeah.
In fact, one speaker even shared this story about a child with autism.
Oh, wow.
Who found a sense of calm and connection through a host's melodic speaking voice on the radio.
That's incredible.
Oh, it's really amazing.
It really highlights how music can be a source of healing and comfort, especially for those who struggle with traditional forms of communication.
Absolutely. And this idea of music as a healing force, it's woven throughout all the LEMDU lectures. They talk about how certain types of music can quiet the mind, elevate our mood, and even help us access higher states of consciousness.
Okay, so let's unpack this idea of higher states of consciousness for a second.
Sure.
What exactly do they mean by that?
Well, think about it this way,
Okay.
We all experience different states of awareness throughout the day. We're alert and focused when we're working.
Right.
Relaxed when we're unwinding.
Yeah.
And somewhere in between during our daily activities.
Exactly.
But there are also these more expanded states of consciousness.
Oh, okay.
Where we feel more connected to our intuition, to our inner wisdom, or even to a sense of something greater than ourselves.
I can see where music might fit into this.
Yeah.
Certain types of music definitely shift my mood.
Yeah.
And make me feel more open and receptive.
Precisely. The LEMDU masters point to practices like chanting mantras, which have been used for centuries to quiet the mind and connect with a sense of the divine. They also talk about Gregorian chants.
Yeah.
Those beautiful melodies used in Catholic traditions to create a sense of reverence and spiritual elevation.
And they don't just stick to ancient traditions, though, right?
Right.
They even bring up more contemporary examples, like the extended coda in the Beatles' Hey Jude.
Interesting.
Which creates that feeling of unity and emotional release.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
It's really interesting that they bring up a pop song like that.
Yeah, it really is.
It shows that this idea of music as a spiritual tool isn't limited to certain genres or time periods.
Exactly, it's universal.
I think that's what makes these lectures so fascinating. They're weaving together ancient wisdom with modern examples.
Right.
It makes these concepts feel really accessible and relevant to our lives today.
You're right. They even go as far as to say that music is at its core pure vibration.
Okay.
And that this vibration can connect us to the very essence of our being.
Really?
And even to the cosmos.
Okay, that's where it starts to get a little mind-bending for me.
I know, it's pretty out there.
What do they mean by connecting to the cosmos through music?
Well, they draw this really fascinating connection to the ancient idea of the music of the spheres.
Okay.
A concept attributed to Pythagoras.
Right, right.
He believed that the movements of celestial bodies, planets, and stars created a kind of harmonious music.
Oh, wow.
Even though we can't hear it with our physical ears.
So it's like the universe is this giant orchestra and we're all part of the symphony.
That's one way to put it. They even point to how NASA has recorded vibrations from planets. And those recordings have been interpreted as musical notes.
That's wild.
Creating a kind of cosmic symphony.
Wow. So even if we can't hear it directly, there's this underlying musicality to the universe, this rhythm and harmony that connects us all.
That's the idea. And they go a step further by talking about the importance of choosing music with higher vibrations for a more positive impact on our well-being.
I've heard people talk about high vibes before.
Yeah.
But it always seemed kind of vague to me.
Yeah.
How do these masters define higher vibrations when it comes to music?
It's a great question, and they don't get too technical about it.
Okay.
You know, everything in the universe, including sound, is energy vibrating at different frequencies.
Okay.
Some vibrations feel uplifting and harmonious, while others feel heavy or chaotic.
Right, so higher vibrations would be those that make us feel more expansive and joyful and connected.
Exactly. They even mentioned Dr. Masaru Emoto's water experiments.
Oh, yeah.
Where he exposed water to different types of music.
I've heard about that.
And observed how the water molecules formed different crystalline structures.
Oh, wow.
The water exposed to classical music or positive affirmations formed these beautiful symmetrical crystals.
Wow.
While the water exposed to heavy metal or negative words formed distorted or incomplete crystals.
So they're suggesting that just like those water molecules, we're also affected by the vibrations of the music we surround ourselves with.
That's right.
Makes you think twice about what you're listening to.
It really does. They're encouraging us to be more mindful of the energy we're taking in through music and to choose sounds that align with our desire for well-being and spiritual growth.
This is all so fascinating.
I know, right?
But I have to admit, it's a lot to wrap my head around.
It is.
Are there any practical steps we can take to start applying these ideas in our lives?
Absolutely. One of the most intriguing concepts they offer is this idea of personal ketones.
Ketones? Yeah. I've never heard of that before.
They're suggesting that each of us has a unique ketone.
Okay.
It's a specific musical note or melody that resonates deeply with our soul.
Wow.
And can unlock memories, insights, and even our life purpose.
Really?
Yeah, it's like a musical fingerprint.
Oh, wow.
That vibrates in harmony with our very essence.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
So it's like a hidden musical code within each of us that we can discover and use to connect with our true selves.
Exactly. And they actually offer some practical steps on how to find your own ketone.
Oh, okay. So let's hear it. This is great. So before we went to part 2, you were telling me about these ketones and how they can help us unlock something deep within ourselves.
Yeah.
It sounds almost too good to be true. Like, is there really a magic melody for each of us?
Well, magic might not be the right word.
Okay.
But the LEMDU masters definitely believe that sound can be a powerful tool for self-discovery.
Okay.
It's not so much about finding one perfect note, but more about paying attention to the music that resonates most deeply with you.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So how do we actually go about finding this ketone?
Right.
Do we need to hire a musical detective or something?
Well, actually, the process can be much simpler than that. One of the first things they suggest is to start paying close attention to your emotional responses.
Okay.
To different types of music. You know, what songs or melodies consistently move you?
Yeah.
Which ones evoke a sense of familiarity?
Right.
Even if you've never heard them before.
I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah.
There are certain songs that just hit me in a certain way, like I've known them forever.
Right.
It's almost like a feeling of coming home.
Exactly. Those are the kinds of experiences that might be pointing you towards your ketone.
Okay.
It could be a certain chord progression, a particular rhythm, or even just a single note that feels especially resonant.
So it's less about finding a specific song and more about paying attention to the elements within the music that trigger something deep within us.
Right. And they suggest exploring music from different cultures and time periods.
Oh, okay. So we could be missing out.
You might discover that your ketone is something you never would have expected.
I love that idea.
Yeah.
It's like expanding our musical horizons and seeing what unexpected treasures we might find.
Right. It's all about being open to the possibility that your ketone might be hiding in plain sight.
Yeah.
Just waiting to be discovered.
So let's say I've identified a piece of music that really resonates with me.
Yeah.
What's the next step?
Well, they suggest trying to isolate the specific notes or melody within that piece.
Okay.
That creates the strongest response. You can do this through active listening.
Okay.
Really focusing on the nuances of the sound.
Right.
Or if you have some musical experience, by trying to play the melody yourself on an instrument.
So it's like becoming a musical detective.
Exactly.
Searching for those sonic clues that unlock something deeper within us.
Precisely, and don't underestimate the power of your dreams.
Oh, okay.
They can often reveal symbolic imagery or even specific melodies that connect us to our spiritual essence.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I've definitely woken up with a song stuck in my head before.
Right.
So maybe those aren't just random earworms.
Right.
Maybe my subconscious is trying to tell me something.
It's definitely worth exploring.
Wow.
And finally, remember the power of intention.
Okay.
You can actively ask your higher self, your guides, or even the universe to reveal your key tone to you.
So it's not just about passively listening.
Exactly.
We can actually use our intention to guide us towards this musical discovery.
The LMDU masters emphasize that music is a form of communication.
Right.
And that includes communication with the spiritual realms.
That opens up a whole other dimension to this exploration.
It does.
But for now, I want to go back to this idea of music as vibration.
Okay.
As a way to connect with the cosmos.
Right.
It's such a big concept, I'm wondering if we can break it down a bit more.
Of course. Remember how we were talking about the music of the spheres earlier?
Yeah.
That idea that the planets and stars are creating this cosmic symphony?
Yeah.
Well, the LMDU masters take that concept and relate it to our everyday lives.
Okay, so how does this grand cosmic music relate to us here on Earth?
Well, they believe that this universal symphony isn't just some abstract concept happening out there in space.
Okay.
It's actually reflected in the rhythms and cycles of our own lives.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Can you give me an example?
Well, think about the rhythm of your heartbeat. It's a steady pulse that keeps you alive.
Yeah.
Then there are the cycles of nature, the changing seasons, the ebb and flow of the tides, the phases of the moon.
Yeah.
All of these follow a certain rhythm, a kind of musicality.
I see what you mean. There's definitely a sense of rhythm to nature, to life itself.
Exactly. And they believe that by connecting with these natural rhythms, we can tune into the harmony of the universe and experience a sense of peace and alignment.
So it's like we're all dancing to the same cosmic beat, whether we realize it or not.
Right.
And music can help us become more aware of that connection.
Precisely. And here's where it gets even more interesting.
Okay.
They also talk about the importance of silence.
Silence.
Yeah.
But we've been talking about music this whole time.
Not.
How does silence fit into this?
Well, think about it. Music isn't just about the notes.
Right.
It's also about the spaces between the notes, the pauses that create rhythm and allow the music to breathe.
Ah, I get it. Like in a conversation.
Exactly.
Sometimes the most powerful moments are the silences.
Right. And the LEMDU teachings suggest that cultivating inner silence is just as important as listening to music.
So it's not just about filling our lives with sound.
Right.
But also about making space for that inner quietude.
That's right. They believe that in those moments of stillness, we can connect with our intuition.
Okay.
Hear the whispers of our soul.
Yeah.
And tap into the creative energy that flows through all of creation.
So it's like finding the balance between the music of the universe and the silence within ourselves.
Beautifully put. And that brings us back to the importance of intentionality.
Okay.
How can we use music and silence as tools to deepen our connection with ourselves and the cosmos?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
I'm ready to dive into some practical applications of all this.
Me too. Let's explore that in the next part of our deep dive.
Okay, so we've been exploring this fascinating link between music and spirituality.
Yeah.
With these LMDU lectures.
It's really fascinating stuff.
And I feel like we've only just scratched the surface.
I think that's true. We've covered a lot of theoretical grounds.
Yeah.
Universal vibrations, key tones, the music of the spheres. But how do we actually use this information?
Yeah, let's get practical.
Okay, well, one of the most accessible practices they recommend is mindful listening.
Okay.
You know, you've mentioned it before, but it's worth emphasizing.
Yeah.
Because so many of us just have music on as background noise.
Yeah, it's true.
These days.
Yeah.
It's easy to forget the power of truly immersing yourself in sound.
Exactly.
So think about setting aside dedicated time.
Okay.
Even just 5 or 10 minutes to really listen.
Okay.
And be intentional about the music you choose.
Okay.
Pick something that aligns with how you want to feel.
So if I want to feel more grounded, I might go for nature sounds. Something with a slower tempo.
Right.
But if I need an energy boost, I'd choose something more upbeat.
That's the idea.
Okay.
And don't be afraid to experiment with genres outside your comfort zone.
Yeah.
You might discover hidden gems.
That's true.
In world music.
Yeah.
Classical, or even spiritual chants from different traditions.
I can see how this could be a form of meditation, too.
Oh, absolutely.
Just focusing on the sound and letting go of distracted thoughts.
Yes, when your mind wanders.
Yeah.
Gently bring it back to the music.
Okay.
Let the sounds wash over you. Notice the different layers of melody and rhythm.
Right.
Pay attention to the emotions that arise as you listen.
The LMDU masters also talk a lot about chanting and mantras.
They do.
Can you tell me more about those practices?
Certainly, chanting and using mantras are ancient practices found across many spiritual traditions.
Okay.
They tap into the power of sound and repetition.
Yeah.
To shift our consciousness and create a sense of connection to something greater than ourselves.
Like the sound.
Yes.
I've heard that's supposed to be the primordial sound of creation.
That's a classic example, and there are countless others.
Wow.
Each with its own unique vibration and intention.
So it's not just repeating words, but about imbuing the sounds with intention.
Exactly. Another powerful practice is using music for visualization or guided meditation.
Okay.
Certain types of music can really transport you to other realms.
I've experienced that before. Yeah. It's amazing how sound can evoke such vivid imagery and emotions.
There are many guided meditations available that use music to create specific experiences.
Oh, wow.
Like journeying to sacred places, connecting with your higher self, or even exploring past lives.
And if you're feeling adventurous, you could even create your own guided meditation.
Absolutely.
Choosing music that evokes the desired feelings and images.
Now, remember the concept of keytones we discussed earlier?
Yes, those unique musical frequencies that resonate with our souls.
Once you've identified your ketone, you can incorporate it into your spiritual practice in so many ways.
Okay.
Listening to it during meditation, having it play softly as you journal, or even learning to play it on an instrument.
I love the idea of calling in your soul's energy through music.
It's a beautiful practice. And even beyond these specific techniques, the LEMDU masters encourage us to just be more aware of the music that surrounds us in daily life.
We often just tune it out. But what if we paid more attention to how different types of music make us feel?
Precisely. Notice how your energy shifts when you're listening to different genres.
Okay.
Does some music make you feel anxious or drained?
Right.
Does other music calm you or inspire you?
It's about becoming more conscious of how sound impacts our mental and emotional states.
And once you're more attuned to those subtle effects, you can make more conscious choices about the music you allow into your life.
It's like taking back your power to create a sonic environment that supports your well-being and spiritual growth.
Well said. I think the most important takeaway from these LMDU lectures is that this journey of exploring music and spirituality is a deeply personal one. There's no one right way to do it.
It's about experimenting, trusting your intuition, and discovering what resonates most deeply with you.
Exactly. Allow the music to guide you.
Yeah.
Pay attention to the melodies and rhythms that speak to your heart and see where they lead you.
This deep dive has certainly sparked my curiosity.
Okay.
There's so much to explore, and I'm excited to continue this journey of listening, playing, and discovering the power of music in my own life.
Me too. And remember, the LMDU lectures are just one starting point.
Right.
There are countless other teachers, traditions, and resources out there waiting to be discovered.
So to all of you listening, we encourage you to keep exploring.
Absolutely.
Let music become your ally on your spiritual journey.
It's a powerful ally.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
It's been a pleasure.
Until next time.